Have you ever wondered how to put a zipper in a zipper pouch or a bag? No worries, I've got you covered. I'm Jan Howell and welcome to my channel. In previous tutorials, I've shown you how to make several zipper pouches out of fabric. And recently, I just showed you how to crochet a zipper pouch. And today, I'm going to show you how you can add a zipper the easy way and a lining to your zipper pouches and bags. No matter what size they are, I have two different methods that I'm going to show you that are easy and doable, even if you're a beginner seamstress. This is such a fun project where I show you how to bring yarn and fabric together to make the cutest bags and pouches ever. It really is easier than you think, and I'm going to show you step by step and break down the process to make it easier, and you might even learn some tips and tricks that you haven't seen before. And if you watch till the end of the video, I'm going to show you some really fun ways that you can embellish your bags and pouches to make them unique and adorable. So without any further chit chat, let's get started. Let's go over the materials and supplies that you will need. So you're going to need your bag, your finished bag, and it doesn't matter what size you have, because I'm going to show you how to measure and cut your lining and your zipper for the bag. You'll need a lining fabric. Now, I'm going to show you two different methods because some projects like this granny stitch, you can see through it. This bag right here, I used this brown fabric, and the brown fabric and the white doesn't look too bad behind in those holes. But if I were to put a white lining, I'm not sure if I'm thrilled with the white poking through those holes, but if I were to put this green behind it, then you have the look of just the green. I'm going to have interfacing on the back side, so I'm going to use two lining pieces, one outer lining piece and an inner lining piece, and this yellow is the fabric that I'll see when I open the bag up. I'm not really going to see this green, but it is going to make it so I don't see anything in the background. I hope that makes sense. So I'll show you how to do that. This crochet project, there really aren't any holes that will show the lining, so I'm just going to use a stabilized piece of fabric for the lining. And if it were even a smaller bag, you may not even need to stabilize it with the lining. So you'll need your lining fabric, and it's just a little bit bigger, as you can see, than the bag itself. And then if you are stabilizing it, I like to use, you can either use, this is a heavyweight stabilizer, iron-on interfacing, or you can use a medium weight. It depends on how stiff you want that lining to be. Or you can use fusible fleece. And I use that for a ton of my projects and bags. The only thing that with fleece is sometimes when you put that fleece on, the fabric kind of has a wrinkly look, which sometimes it doesn't matter, but other times if I want, especially if it's a bigger bag and I want to put a nice label on the inside, I kind of like having a more smooth feel to it, like I have with this interfacing. So there are different options, and it depends on what you prefer. So you'll need your lining fabric and your stabilizer if you are using it. You'll need a zipper. I love having a bunch of colors of zippers on hand, and so I buy zippers by the yard. And as you can see, I have a bin of all kinds of zippers, and I will put a link in the description below of the supplies that I enjoy and use. I just got a new set of just different shades of blue that I'm excited about, and greens. But you'll need to choose a zipper, and they come, these zipper by the yard come with zipper pulls, matching, or you can switch it out and use different color pulls on a zipper. So there's a lot of things you can do, and they're really well priced. you will need your zipper pull. This is not necessary, but I really like this zipper jig. I also have a little purple one you've probably seen people use. That makes putting that zipper pull on a little easier. You'll need some fabric clips or just some straight pins. You'll need some kind of measuring device, a pair of fabric scissors. This is not necessary either, but it does make applying your zipper a lot easier. It's just this glue based-it, and I just love it for so many other things. And you'll need to locate your zipper foot for your sewing machine. And if you want to put a D-ring on the side of your pouch like I have with this bag, you'll need a 1-inch D-ring or however big you want to use. Some fray check, have that on hand in case you need it for one of the methods that I'll be showing you. And if you're putting a D-ring on, you'll need a yarn needle and contrasting thread and a needle. And your sewing machine. You'll need an iron, and that's about it. And most of you know that I like to embellish my work with a label or a tag. And I'll put the link in the description below where you can learn how to make your own. I have some new designs that I'm coming up with soon. If you've made some of my labels before, I'm getting another process that you can edit the colors, the design, and make them more custom. So watch out for those. So to cut that lining piece out, I've already cut it out to size and applied the interfacing for this bag. But if I was just starting from scratch or whatever, and I had a piece of fabric, say I want to use this cute orange plaid fabric, just take it and fold it up, obviously bigger than the height of the bag, so it's on the fold. And then take your finished crochet bag, line the bottom of the bag up with the fold line. I would give myself some leeway and just cut it out like this. And then you'll take a pen or a pencil and you're going to trace right along the edge of that bag. I'm not going to leave any extra at the top. We don't need to do that because we're going to be applying that zipper that will have some allowance to it. Now I'm not going to cut that out. I'm going to use that as my seam line. Do the same thing with a piece of interfacing. Now I know this is probably not big enough piece, but you would fold that in half like this and line it up on the fold and trace around it. And the lining you will cut out on that line. And then you're going to apply it to the back side of the fabric like I have with this piece here. Now the next thing what we're going to do is apply the zipper. But before we apply the zipper, we need to mark and prep this lining piece. I'm going to fold this in half and take my scissors and just make a little nick like that to mark the center to the top and the bottom. You know, you don't want it to be too deep, just so that you can see where that center is. You see that? I'm going to cut my zipper 2 inches bigger than my piece of, just so I have some leeway and some extra on the ends, which I'll explain later. I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to eye that and cut that off. So it overlaps probably 1 inch on each side or whatever. Then I'm going to take the zipper, fold it in half, and make little notches, just little teeny, into that center point on both sides of the zipper. Now you're going to take your zipper and pull it apart. Don't freak out. Everything's all right. So this is one of the best techniques that I've learned, and I love using this. So it's kind of hard to wrap your head around which side of the zipper do I put. Now this is kind of counterintuitive because you think that you would put the right side of the zipper to the right side of the fabric. But we are going to place your fabric right side facing up, take the glue, and place a small bead of glue along that top edge. And you don't want to get crazy and use a ton. Just going to put that along the edge there. Take one of the zipper tapes with the wrong side facing down, match up that center point of the zipper to the center point of the lining, and just press that down. Now to make it adhere and activate the glue, we're going to press that in place. And if it goes a little ski-wampus, you can just pull it off and iron it again, and it'll stay in place. Because the zipper does kind of want to curl and do its own thing. And give it a little press on the other side. Okay, so that's in place. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Right side of the zipper facing up. All right, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and put on our zipper foot and sew down that edge and this edge. I'm going to put my zipper foot on my machine. I'm using just a 80 or 90 universal needle will be fine. I'm going to put it on that left bar there. And I've adjusted my machine to a straight stitch. When I put the presser foot down, it's going to ride along the edge there. Flip the zipper under and press that edge there. And then I'm going to top stitch. And before I do that, if I wanted to add a tag to the inside of the bag, a label, and it's almost better to do before you put the zipper on because you already have that center point marked. But I'll just mark it like this. I'm going to put it down like about an inch. And instead of poking a hole in my label, which I really don't want to do, with a pin, this is where a piece of painter's tape comes in handy again. And I'll sew that first before I top stitch. I'm going to go ahead and leave my zipper foot on, and you'll want to stitch about 1/8 of an inch in from your tag or label. And I'm holding that top thread for the first couple stitches so I don't get that bird nesting on top. So I like to put my presser foot down and then turn my hand wheel towards me, bring my needle down to make sure it's where I want it to be going and sewing. I'll take a few stitches with holding the thread. I've applied my label and top stitched. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but we want to put the lining, the right side of the lining facing down. I'm going to take my zipper pull, face it away from me so I'm seeing the back side of the zipper, slide it into my zipper jig so the rounded part is on top. So I'm going to get rid of all this garbage, all these threads and things, and get a crisp edge. You don't want to cut any off, just the fringe. See how it's starting to fray already. So we're going to just kind of place it underneath there and stick the ends in. I like to start with one in, it seems easier a little bit, and then the other one to follow, but you want to line them up so that they go through the same rate. So you can kind of hear it click. See that? And it looks like they're lined up really nicely, so I can pull it out, take it off the jig, and trust me, but I'm going to pull it off again. Now to get that zipper in the middle and to keep these both ends attached for when we sew the side seams, this is just a lot easier. I'm going to pull it through again, but just go halfway up. So again, put your zipper facing away with the rounded on the top. Let it come halfway up. I'm going to turn it right side, or the wrong side facing out. Going to sew both side seams. Align the zipper so the teeth are straight up. And I like to use pins here because it's not going to go anywhere. Clips work too. Going to take off my zipper foot and put my regular foot back on. Going to bring my presser foot on top of the zipper teeth, turn my hand wheel towards me, and so that my needle comes down just on the outside of the zipper teeth. I want to sew into the zipper teeth. I'm going to take a few stitches forward and a few stitches back. Then I'll sew all the way around, following that trace line. I'm going to sew up to the teeth of the zipper. Maybe I can get one more stitch. Then I'm going to back stitch. So I don't want to cut the zipper off yet, and I may not even cut it off. So I'm going to clip in and leave a 1/4 inch seam allowance and just cut down there to take some of that bulk off. And then around the corner I'm going to make little notches. Don't want to get too close to that seam. And we have our inner lining. I'm going to clip some of these threads. So to make sure that this zipper stays together and doesn't come undone inside your bag, take it to the sewing machine and just sew straight across there on both ends. And just for extra security, I like to apply a little bit of fray check along the edge of the zipper, because it will start to fray pretty good. Now before I insert my lining, if I want to add a D-ring to the outside of my bag, I'm going to just place it where I want it and then thread a piece of yarn, I'm going to use the gray color, obviously, and whip stitch that around. And I'll show you how to do that now. I have threaded the yarn needle, and I'm going to apply it from the inside of the bag and just stick it out there at the top. And leave a little tail. I'm going to weave back and forth. Then you take your D-ring and just start doing a little whip stitch right there from over the D-ring and then into the adjacent side. And when you get it totally covered on that inside, I'm going to bring it over and take it to the inside of the bag and weave the ends in just like you do when you're ending a crochet project. And clip it off. Take the lining, insert it into the crochet bag. And tuck your zipper tab down. This is where you'll take some pins and pin it in place. I like to do my ends first. So it's laying flat. Take a color of thread that is the same color as the zipper and double thread your needle. Knot the ends. Wrap it around your finger a few times, pull it to make the knot. I'm going to bring my needle under that zipper tape and just poke it out at the top by that seam. Bring my yarn edge up, and I'm just going to start whip stitching, going into the yarn edge and then a little stitch into the zipper tape. This is where you put on a good movie and enjoy this hand stitching. It really doesn't take very long, and it's just relaxing, and you can have better control. Of course, you could probably do this with a sewing machine, but I don't know if I'd like that stitch into my yarn and into my lining. So you just, these little stitches, adjusting it as you go. You can barely see those stitches on the inside of your tape. Now we're going to go over how to make the lining, this double lining for this cute green bag. You're basically just going to make a separate basic zipper pouch that you'll insert into this bag. And a tip for your double liner is to use two different fabrics or two different colors so that you don't get them mixed up. We'll call this my inner bag. This is the part of the bag that I will see when I open up the bag. So I'm going to place that right side facing up. The easiest way that I have found is to trace the zipper pouch onto your stabilizer first, just like we did before, and cut it out to size, and then take your lining pieces and place it on the fold and trace around it, but don't cut it out. So I've done that for both of these pieces, and then I'm going to iron the interfacing onto the back side of the lining. And this is a heavyweight iron-on interfacing. I'm not going to cut around the sides, but I am going to cut off that top edge. inner lining fabric right side facing up. We're going to place the wrong side of the zipper tape to the right side of that lining, matching up the center points. Then I'm going to make a little zipper sandwich and put a bead of glue on top of that zipper tape. My label's on, and now I'm going to apply the other side of the zipper. So I've turned it wrong side facing out and then wrong side facing out again, the outer lining and the inner lining facing each other. I'm going to unzip my zipper a little bit to make sure there's an opening. We don't want to come too close to the edge. Bring the pieces together, but pull the zipper teeth towards the lining that you're going to see, which is this yellow piece. I'm going to line up my edges. I like using a pin. Fabric clips can have a tendency to shift with all these layers. Now on this yellow side, or we're going to sew just the side seams full out. On this lining piece, we're going to leave a space so we can turn it right side facing out. So I'm going to make sure that that's flat. And I have my seam lines that I traced earlier that I'm going to sew. I'm going to start on this lining, on that curve, and take a back stitch. And take your time going over those zipper teeth. I might even back tack a little bit right there. Trim off the excess seam allowance, and around those curves I'm even going to just make little notches, making sure I'm not cutting into the seam, just to reduce the bulk. Now I have left this whole bottom corner open so that I can turn it a little easier since this bag is kind of small. Now we're going to turn it right side facing out. Just folding the seam allowance in. This doesn't have to look fabulous because we're not really even going to see that. We just need to secure it in place. So I'm folding those raw edges in and just putting a clip there. You can hand stitch that, or I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine, stitch 1/8 of an inch away from that edge there to secure it in place. Slip it in your crochet pouch. Take some pins, pin it in place, thread your needle, and do the same thing as we did before. Oh, such a cute little zipper pouch. I told you I would show you some fun ways to embellish and make your bags custom. Here are a few ideas. If you are going to embellish your bag with something on the outside of the zipper pouch, you'll want to do that before you insert the lining. It just makes it easier to access. And this one, this cute applique, is just a round piece of felt with embroidered yellow daisy stitch right there. And I've just whip stitched that on. So cute. I have cut a heart out of a felted wool red sweater. And look how cute that looks on this zipper pouch. I'm just going to whip stitch it all the way around. And it makes such a unique, cozy little applique. Felted wool sweater heart. If you've applied a D-ring on your pouches and bags, you can put a cute wristlet on there. And these are so fun and quick to make. If you want to learn how to make these, leave me a comment in the comment section below and we'll do a quick tutorial up for you. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, a fun project where fabric, yarn, and a zipper come together for such a cute, unique project. If you like my content, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay tuned for upcoming tutorials, and if you want to check out my website, youmakeitsimple.com, where you can find other patterns, projects, and all kinds of DIY projects. And if you want the complete bundle pattern of the crochet instructions for the granny square pouch and the zipper lining, I'll put the link in the description below for that. I will also put links to the supplies and products that I use and love in the description below, and be sure to leave a comment if you have a question or some suggestions or feedback. I love it. Have a wonderful day. Grab your crochet hook, a zipper, and some fabric and make some fun zipper pouches.